Just not being able to be here. It's also on that. Yeah. I was talking to people. All right, I'm good.
Yeah. Something's going. Very good time. I'm prepared
Yeah.
It's about one meeting of the Amherst School District is held on Wednesday, January 10th, 2023. This meeting is being held to review the agenda for the regular monthly board meeting that will be held on Wednesday, January 17th, 2024 at 10 p.m. at high school in US 7. May we grounds for the finance meeting? Examples. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, make sure. I thought.
All right.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good job. That's nice job. I have a question. I'd like to ask us to have a sign on school on of several people lost or injured. Are associated with the district over the past few months, but this brings off of that moment of silence now. This meeting is being recorded for district purposes. It is made published in part in its entirety on the district website without the express permission of the participants. With that, Dr. Pasquarelli, can we get roll call? Mr. Carpenter? Here. Mrs. Fisher?
Here.
Spitzko?
Here.
Mrs. Keough?
Here.
Mr. Kavasaki? Here. Mr. Metz? Here. Mrs. Mamasco?
Here.
Mrs. Young? Mr. Sachi? Here. Mr. President. Thank you. Can we please get the sunshine on?
The Board of School Directors held an executive session immediately prior to this meeting on Wednesday, January 10th, to discuss personnel matters subject to attorney-client privilege and litigation or threatened litigation matters.
Would you consider being on correspondence? No correspondence. Okay. Thank you. Any amendments, amendments to the agenda? Great, thank you. Recognition and presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Carpenter. January is School Board Recognition Month, and in honor of that, we wish to thank all of our board school directors for their continued dedication and hard work. Your positive attitude and determination is recognized. Thanks for all you do for our staff, our students, and our community. And this is just a little token of our appreciation for all the hard work and time that you put into these positions. We greatly appreciate you, not only this month, but all the months of the year. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's now time for public comment. At this time, district residents may come forward to comment on the agenda items only. Each person must state their first and last name and address prior to speaking. Each resident will be allowed 3 minutes and can speak only once. This period for public comment prior to the standing committee reports will be limited to 1/2 hour. Although not required, board members desiring to address questions or concerns may do so after the residents' comments or questions or at the conclusion of the committee reports. There will be still an opportunity for residents to comment on any business relevant to the Emory School District under all the business at the end of the meeting. With that, would anybody like to make comment? Okay, thank you. Now moving to legislative action, education and technology, Mrs. Renasco.
Thank you, President Carpenter. Number 1, Pennsylvania Department of Education, ARP, ESSER, Health and Safety Plan Guidance and Template. It is recommended to approve the updated American Rescue Plan, or ARP, Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, or ESSER, Health and Safety Plan for the 2023-2024 school year.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any brief discussion?
These are voting tokens. Yeah. We're ready for a roll call? Roll call. Let's search. Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Fitzko?
Yes.
Mrs. Keough?
Yes.
Mr. Colacetti?
Yes.
Mr. Metz? Yeah. Mrs. Romasco?
Yes.
Mrs. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Zachary? Yes. Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Young, are you on the phone?
Ms. Young?
Yes, sir, Governor, unfortunately, I'm not here, I do not have the information.
Okay, thank you. Are you okay? Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Sure.
Personnel, number 1, resignation. It is recommended to approve the resignation of Rachel Hilzita from her position as 5th grade teacher at Highland, effective January 8, 2024, with regret. The district reserves the right to retain the employee for the 60-day statutory period or until relieved of duties, whichever occurs first. Any questions? Number 2, resignation. It is recommended to approve the resignation of Rebecca Denise from her position as confidential secretary, effective January 26, 2024, with regret. Any questions? Number 3, contracted PIMS coordinator. It is recommended to extend the contract between the Amber Julia School District and Carol Jessup for subcontracted PIMS services on a month-to-month basis. Any questions? Number 4, 2023-2024 winter coaches. It is recommended the following individuals be ratified to fill the designated winter coaching positions for the 2023-24 school year at a salary as per the terms of the collective bargaining agreement, pending receipt of current clearances, satisfactory drug screening, TB testing, and responses by current former employers to Act 168 screening, provided the school year allows coaches to hold winter sports as normal. Boys basketball, Nathan Smith, middle school head coach, $1,750. Marlon Contrell, middle school volunteer coach, no remuneration. Any questions? Number 5, 2023-24 spring coaches. It is recommended the following individuals be ratified to fill the designated spring coaching positions for the 23-24 school year at a salary as per the terms of the collective bargaining agreement, pending receipt of current clearances, satisfactory drug screening, TB testing, and responses by current former employers to Act 168 screening, provided the school year allows coaches to hold spring sports as normal. Boys baseball, A. Sean Dugan, high school assistant baseball coach, $2,400. B. Richard Urfito, middle school assistant baseball coach, $1,350. Any questions? Number 6, cafeteria food service monitors. It is recommended to hire the following individuals as food service monitors as per the terms of the non-bargaining unit, pending receipt of current clearances, satisfactory drug screening, TB testing, and responses by current former employers to Act 168 screening. A, Don Heasley, Highland Elementary, and B, Margaret Guntram, Highland Elementary. Any questions? Number 7, cheerleading chaperones. It is recommended to approve the chaperones for the high school varsity cheerleaders trip to Walt Disney World to participate in the Universal Cheerleaders Association National High School Cheerleading Championship from February 9, 2024 through February 13, 2024. There is no cost to the district. Chaperones will be required to have current clearances and TB testing. A, Karen Baker, B, Kelly Ramasco, C, Kelly Smith. Any questions? Number 8, ABC Transit Bus Driver, or A. It is recommended to approve the individuals listed as operators, attendants, and maintenance for ABC Transit, Inc. for the 2023-24 school year, pending receipt of current clearances, satisfactory drug screening, TB testing, and responses by current former employers to Act 168 screening. Bus driver, bus aide, Whitney Humphreys. Any questions? That is all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you.
I need to make a motion to accept items 1 through 8.
Second. For discussion, any additional for discussion? That's fine, Dr. Pascal, please. Mr. Carpenter? Yes. Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mrs. Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Mrs. Keyhoe?
Yes.
Mr. Peppersack? Yes. Mr. Matz?
Yes, everything, yes, all the way up to 7 and abstain for me.
Just give me 1 second. Thank you. Mrs. Ramasco?
Yes, for 1 through 6 and 8. And then abstain for number 7.
Thank you. Mrs. Young?
Yes, except for that's the community expense. I looked at the measures I would abstain from that one.
Mr. Zaki? Yes. All motions passed. Okay, thank you. Moving on to committee reports, education and technology, Mrs. Ramasco.
Yes, President Carpenter. Number 1, 2024 through 2025 proposed school calendar. It is recommended the proposed 2024-2025 school year calendar be approved as presented. Number 2, Pennsylvania State Athletic Directors Association, PSADA Conference. It is recommended that Joseph Lemenza be authorized to attend the 55th Annual PSADA Conference, in which Mr. Lemenza will receive professional development regarding management and operations of athletic events. This event will be held March 19th to the 22nd, 2024 in Hershey. Mr. Lemenza will be reimbursed at the contracted rate with an expense report attached, which covers registration, fees, travel, lodging, and meals. Number 3, BCWAN Consortium. It is recommended the Ambridge Area School District should participate in the BCWAN Consortium for telecommunication and internet access services. Pricing through Beaver County Intermediate Unit is approximately $1,791.46 per month, beginning July 1st, 2023 for a 5-year period. The district has participated in this consortium in the past.
Mrs. Ramasco, any additional discussion on this subject?
If I could, on number 1, the calendar, just some points, this is personal, this is stuff that I hear. Snow days, why is there so many? If we never have a snow day, they're always remote, supposed to, just like the other day. The 25th of November is this year, the day, the Monday after Thanksgiving. Why is that continuing to be off when traditionally it's been the day of, first day of hunting, no longer the first day since it's Friday or Saturday prior. And then, I've been asked to ask this, but up to 2 days off at the end of the year based on the snow days, or start a few days later and actually go on the 26th. Just putting out there those ideas from what I've heard. I don't know what can be done with them or discussed about them.
The only comment I really make, I mean, obviously, we do. What we're not talking about is the snow makeup. I think you should leave the snow makeup days in. That will still continue to be my recommendation. We are allowed this year again to use field days. That is true. But there has been talk throughout many years of where they may not allow that any longer. That is a law that could be changed. Second of all, I think it's good to have those days in there should we need them for any other reason makeup that we did not anticipate. I'll leave it at that, not just for weather, but for other reasons. I think it's good to have people know that and have the breaks. Most of the other things that you were mentioned, Mr. Zachi, I believe are reference, and ultimately the school board makes the calendar. We did talk to the union, we took some of their considerations into play and tried to come up with what we thought. So, I mean, it kind of comes up to what you folks want to do.
I've only counted one professional day. Am I missing another one?
What the one that is that?
Oh, there's two professional, what do you call them? Professional development day.
There's clerical days and then there's professional development days. And so where it says teacher days, one of those at the 19th and the 20th is clerical. The other one is a professional development day. And then you will see that we have like grading days or the 2-hour delay days in red. And then you would have the half of a clerical, half professional day in January, like the one that's coming up.
But as the union asks for more days for professional development, they always, you hear teachers don't have time or don't have training in this thing and that thing. Is it worth going more, or is that contract based where you can't?
Correct, that's contractual. So the amount of clerical versus, and also the amount of professional, but teacher work days that are divided into clerical days and professional development. Actually, in the recent contract, by giving them the 2-hour delays to be able to do grades, and allowed us to have a little bit more professional development time. So that's contractual.
I do got a question about that 2-hour delay. What's the difference to having it in the afternoon compared to the morning? So instead of going 2 hours late in the morning, why not 2 hours early dismissal from school, where you're kind of not butting heads with other schools that might be going to school at the same time, and risking not having the proper busing or van support that you would if you were doing the 2-hour early dismissal?
I think, again, I mean, if I was completely honest, that's going to come down to preference. Parents are probably used to plans for 2 hours in the morning. They'd have to make, especially for elementary, 2-hour plan delay in the afternoon. So I think you'd have some people that they would say, yeah, that makes sense. And other people would say, that's more difficult. So whichever way that it's always sort of been, that doesn't mean it's right. We always hate to say that. It's always, the best of my knowledge, been done that way here in the morning. But if you flop that, as long as they got the 2 hours, I think you'd probably be okay. But I don't know. I can't answer that. I'm sure if you ask some people, there would be reasons on both sides for them personally, but I don't have a preference my own self or what way that goes, other than I think most places I've been, that doesn't make it right. It was the 2-hour delay in the morning, people sort of have plans for that, whether it be because of weather, or just knowledge of it. But if you gave them enough notice, maybe they make plans that way. So.
The other day, we got to pick one. Kind of said it was not going to be done.
No, I was just a question.
The others?
I have one. I'm assuming May 27th is blocked off for Kennywood
Yes.
for this year? Okay.
We hope so. As you know, probably many of you, Kennywood has been bought out, so this really works diligently to try to get a day. And it used to be, we knew the day all the time, and now we believe this will be the day again. I think she's got confirmation that will be on Tuesday.
Then my other question was the bid days. Do they give you like a year advance notice, or they could just take it away after, like,
You apply usually in June, July, and then they'll let you know, and it could change. I would just say that there may be other reasons why too, if we did have to cancel that, maybe we would want to make sure that we made that day up. There might be a reason for that.
And some budget, Mr. Johnson. Thank you.
It's recommended to accept the proposal from Burco to review the allocated tax jurisdiction by the school district to determine if there are taxpayers who reported an incorrect school code on their tax returns. This is at an approximate cost of $860.
I'll just make a quick comment on that. We've been using that now for a couple of years. It used to be that we tried to do that internally, but for this cost, that they're more accurate and it's less time consuming for folks to be able to do that. They're professional side. You have been utilizing this for a couple of years. So I just wanted to put that out there.
We usually get more than what we pay.
Well, the idea behind it is that our folks internally were just having trouble keeping up with that and who was all going to do, creating some overtime issues, and then making sure that it was accurate and timely. So as far as do I think that it is worth having them to do that to ensure that we get the appropriate amount, I would say yes.
Any discussion? School district monthly bills and salaries. It's recommended that the monthly school district bills in the amount listed and the monthly school district personnel salaries in the amount being approved. And then cafeteria, it's recommended that the monthly cafeteria bills in the amounts listed and the monthly cafeteria personnel salaries in the amount listed be paid. So discussion on these 3 points. You may, I want to bring up something else, budget. For business manager, is it possible to get a report of the percent spent on budget to the budget for 6 months and then 1 month, every month after? Next few days, there's no hurry for.
That's nothing we have. Anything to add to that? Athletics, Mrs. Fisher.
Yes. Number 1, overnight tournament participation request. It is recommended to approve the high school boys varsity volleyball team attend the following overnight tournaments. Northeastern High School, Manchester, PA, April 6, 2024. The district will pay for dues, fees, and transportation. The boosters will pay for lodging. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any board discussions, questions?
I have a question, actually. I didn't get a chance to Google this. How far is Manchester? Anybody know? Hours. So my question would be, I mean, this is awesome. Can we, as a district, offer them to pay for the bus amount, like the school bus? And if the boosters is interested in putting the rest of the money in to get a tour bus, to get, for them to be able to get that, that's a pretty far drive on a school bus. So not that the district would be paying more money, we would just be taking the money because we would be paying for a school bus, and the boosters can chip in the rest, whatever that difference is, if they would like. And then, just because it seems like a far drive to me.
So the best of my knowledge, somebody knows differently. That is how it always goes.
They're on for that, okay.
You would, if they request that, we would offset the cost of what it would cost, which we get from the bus company of what it would cost to do the trip. We get that bid in, and then if they want us to pay that amount, they want the other, they want to make up the rest, they're able to do that. As far as I know, that's all it's always been.
We did that for an optional competition for cheer, and the boosters paid the difference, and it was through ABC. However, I just didn't know if we offered that to them, if they would even know that that's an option. Just want to, a long time is with us. If
Which was number.
it's a 4 hours.
So that's.
Oprah Ski Club sends their kids to Vermont most of the bus.
So maybe they would protect us.
That's what I heard. Yeah. But, you know, if they know about it, that's what I suggest for putting money. Everybody good? Any other questions?
Our precedent is to pay for the dues and fees for the tournament. That's what we've done with other organizations that have gone to travel tournaments and whatnot. I'm sorry, I can say you guys, that's the way.
This is a policy and practice.
Right.
It's a practice, yes, that's what you're asking. In most every district that I've been in, that's the practice, that if your booster wants to go above that, and above and beyond for the kids, they can do that and pay the difference.
I'm not talking about the transportation piece. I'm talking about the dues and the fees associated to the tournament. That's our precedent here.
It is.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Any other questions? With that, public relations, Ms. Fitzgerald.
As a point of information, Hall of Honor. Annually, Amber Dairy School District proudly recognizes graduates to induct into the Bridger Hall of Honor. The Bridger Hall of Honor was established to commend those outstanding graduates for their accomplishments, successes, service to others, and/or state and national awards. Applications to complete the 2024 nominations are available on the district website.
So we'll be getting that updated if it hasn't been updated shortly. Supporting information, we'll be getting that up.
Thank you. Stewart Lewis, Mrs. Keegan.
I have no items for this evening.
Thank you. Legislation, Ms. Fitzgerald.
I have no items. Thank you.
Thank you. Labor Relations, Mr. Elizabeth.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. And Personnel, Ms. Young or Kathy Fisher.
Nothing to report this evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, if I could say one thing, I just want to thank the community, plus Mrs. Fisher and the police from Ambridge and what is it? Almost Kathy, Miss Fisher participated in that.
Harmony Township, Stop and Save,
Yes.
and police, Harmony Township Police, and many businesses in our district contributed, donated in less than a little over a week's time. Thank you for that, Mr. Metz.
That was there?
It was the shop.
Yeah, shop.
It was a little, thrown together kind of at the last minute, and we're planning on doing it annually, so hopefully all of you will be willing to take part in it next year, but, we helped several families, raised over $17,000, and every child, left there with a gift as well, so. It was a great event and something we look to partner again with them each year. So thank you for that. Thank you, Shop and Save, for partnering with us and working with us on putting the event together. It was a great event.
Mrs. Fisher, I had the opportunity to speak with a couple of the staff who was shortly thereafter. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it, but they were ecstatic to even have the opportunity to do it. As excited about it as we were. So just an answer for you. Thank you for helping put that to folks together. And that for everyone, but
And we're gonna have a great kids dinner This, like I said, this year was just kind of done at the last minute, but we'll put a date out there much sooner for the upcoming year.
Thank you. I only have a couple of things. You saw a couple of miscues today, missing flag. And, just please understand that we have a secretary that is not in the seat right now. The boards are all of these things together, and Dr. Pasquarella and others, Dr. Filipowski, and many others have done a great job in doing what she does together to help keep us all together and run the school district and so many other things that people like us don't even see what she does. And it's only when something, not only, but when something is not in their seat, that's when you recognize really the value that they bring. And I think we've all seen that. And it's that, I think enough said on that front. One other thing is, I think most of us are aware that the cheerleaders, is it just varsity cheerleaders?
The competitive team.
The competitive team. They are going to the BIAA state championship, right? When is that?
January 25th to the 27th.
Coming right up. So, also, just another awesome thing that happens in our school district, and I had the opportunity this year to see two other school districts, and I took notice of the cheerleaders. Having a cheerleader team like ours makes you take notice of other cheerleaders. And again, you don't realize how good people are until you see others. The other two cheerleader teams that I saw, which will remain nameless, one of them might be where he lives. I don't really see that you realize how amazing that they are. So they do a really good job, and I think I wish them the best of luck for that competition and fun trip. So with that, that's all I have.
So we provided litigation updates in executive session. We would just, again, thank everyone for their service and join our voices in recognizing you and what you do for your community and for the students and staff of this district. It is, as we kind of identified a little bit at every organization meeting, it's a critically important position, and one that is at times thankless or less thankful than it should be. So we see you from our seat, as do others, especially I'm sure those who joined us on evenings like this. So congratulations. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
One thing I did want to make sure that we mentioned on the agenda is we usually do give people the opportunity to speak on anything that's not an agenda item too. And I know in combining of the agendas, and I appreciate you thanking us and trying to do due diligence on that. So I do believe that we do have that on here for new business down here at the bottom. I think that's where it typically comes. I just wanted to make sure that I just wanted to make sure that was on record of that. I would like to take a moment again to thank the boards for everything that they have done for us each and every day. It is a tireless job. There's a lot of calls, a lot of work. Everyone's coming to this trying to do the very best they can. So I appreciate each and every one of you and the jobs that you're doing. Congratulations again to the cheerleaders. So not to reiterate all the points, but we look forward to welcoming them back hopefully in February to celebrate their results and make sure we acknowledge that. Next week, we will acknowledge some students here at our meeting for all the good work that they're doing. It was an excellent, I hope everyone had an excellent break, and it was nice to see prior to break and during break, many of our sports and musical activities that were going on. Hopefully you got a chance to enjoy that, and we'll continue to do that throughout the winter and into the spring season. So, thank you.
Thank you. So it's time for any other business. Our district president who desires to comment on any business relevant to the Ambridge Area School District should now come forward. Each person must state the first and last name and address prior to speaking. Each person will be allowed 3 minutes and can speak only once.
Not the Jolly Green Giant. But the other graduation, 26-23 Woodland Road, hello again. Happy New Year to all of you. Congratulations to all of you who got reelected or being reelected. So my question is on the agenda, those questions on the agenda, $860 for that work one. So we are spending $860, but are we recovering $2,000? Are we recovering $2,000? But I was spending $860 and then we're recovering $200. I don't think I can remember that. For the solicitor, in regards to the litigation, I would love to say things you can share what is going on with that litigation. Property Charter School, just wondering how things are going with that, are things working out? And if there is a number, do you know the number of how many students in this district attending charter school? As you remember, I was a big supporter of folks endorsing that school, so I'm really happy that it is here. Has there been a set millage for the taxes for this year? And the books in the libraries, when I say the libraries, I'm talking about all three divisions, elementary, middle school, and high school. Are these books all kosher? And what I mean by kosher, like nothing immoral, anything sexual, because I really would just like be paying taxes on 3 properties. He just lost, he sold one, those 4. I really don't want any of my tax money going to anything that's anymore. That's not right. My husband works his year off to send schools, students to pick up in public schools. That's my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So, we'll take a shot.
Yeah, so the $860, to be clear, this report was something that was being done at one point. I believe it was contracted out. We have been doing this contracted out for quite some time. As far as gaining the money back, to answer your question, number one thing that it was doing was creating a large burden for a large number of our business office folks to try to complete this task, to the point where it was creating overtime and making it almost unmanageable for them to do that. So the report and what we have to do is due. As far as what we gain out of that, I do believe the more accurate and that the report it is, the more dollars you could get. But to be honest with you and transparent, I think a large component of it came down to this is a more manageable way to pay these professionals for only $860 versus trying to have our staff do this in its entirety. So that's the whole answer in a nutshell there. We have been using it. It's been successful. I think it's a fair thing that I recommend that we continue to do. We had to try to do that on our own, and we have to calculate our time with our folks who are doing that. Not only that, then if there's overtime, what are they not doing when they're not doing that? How well are they doing that, et cetera. So I think.
Just to clarify, sorry, I don't want to, but this is the process that has to be done.
It is. Yes, it is. It does that. Yeah. The Providence Charter School, last I know, I don't want to be quoted on it, it was one. There was one student who attended. Now, there's enrollments every day, but there was one. The millage rate, we know that there is a large discussion that's going to need to be had around reassessment and then dropping the millage rate. I mean, this happened in Allegheny County, now it's moved to Beaver County. There's a lot that's going to go into that, and working with not only solicitors, but the county and all that. There's a lot that goes into appeals that happen to that experience, and this one's in Allegheny County. Eventually, what is going to happen in general, it doesn't mean for any one person in specific, but the district has to try to come up with a formula and lower the millage so that based upon the new assessed value, we come in relatively revenue neutral. I mean, it's a large task. They've tried to ask people in the county to file their appeals ahead of time to get a more accurate number. But there's a couple of things that are going to need to go into that as we work through this to try to figure out. One's going to be we're probably going to have to start budgeting more dollars for appeals and where that might come in and what that might do to the revenue. And so we did not set a millage rate. What we did so far is pass a resolution that we would not raise above the index. And as you know, from probably past experience, we can't say this till we work through our budget process, but in the last, well, I could just say since I've been, we've not raised taxes at all. So I'm not saying that will or will not happen. I always tell people and reiterate the fact that just because I couldn't hear you, but I think we have to say whatever your questions are, you ask them, then I'll answer them. I didn't hear what you said though. Go ahead.
I would just say that you technically only raised the taxes, you were already at the highest level that you could tax the taxpayer.
That's not true. We could have raised them in the last 4 years up to the index. We did not. So that's definitely not true. So we've had fiscally, we've been fiscally responsible, we continue to be fiscally responsible while doing the best we can to offer everything for our kids, both athletically, academically, in the arts, across the board. And so we definitely could raise the index. We chose not to do that. As a matter of fact, we not only didn't raise the index, we haven't raised the taxes at all. That being said, to answer your question about the millage, there's a lot of work that's still going to need to be done to try to figure this out because it's kind of a moving target for everybody and it runs a lot of risk. You do want to try to come in as close as you can when you figure this out to be revenue neutral because that's the idea. You shouldn't see a large increase by doing this. So what's going to end up happening now, an individual will have been asked, how will that apply to me? And I can't particularly answer that until we set the millage, then you can go over there. But if you're someone who is appealing on your properties, then I don't know what that appeal may result in. So you've got to kind of consider those kind of things as you work through that. But our job will be to try to do that in the most fair and concise way that we can with the information that we have that is ever changing, trying to budget accordingly, knowing that there could be fluctuation one way or another, which is difficult. And obviously, as we work through the budget process, that would be a discussion for the board, whether or not they choose to raise the taxes at all or to the index or anything like that. In this year, I don't anticipate that. It's going to come down to probably more or less where are we and how do we come in neutral. And that's just a difficult task for anyone. So I know the business manager is going to reach out to try to work with some other people. I know the solicitor has some experience through Allegheny County who experienced this maybe in 2012, 13, 14 era. So it's a tough one, but we're going to do our best to try to come up with what we believe is fair. And your last question about the books. I'm not sure exactly how to even answer that, to be honest with you. I don't believe that, that the books that we have, in my opinion, I'm not aware of any that are inappropriate. And obviously, if a parent of any student has concern about any books or want to make sure that my opinion is you can make that request and ensure that your student, your child does not have access to that book, or we don't read that book in class. You have an alternative assignment for the most part. Now, there are some cases where if we do deem that this is the curriculum that we do read, then we do that. But we're helping work with people if there's an issue. I'm not aware of any issue at this given time. So I don't know if that answered your question, but tried to answer them all.
In terms of litigation, we previously reported aspects of two pieces of litigation that are in the Court of Common Pleas of Beaver County. One is a lawsuit initiated against PA Cyber for failure to repay an overpayment as stated. Other affected chargers from that year have done so. PA Cyber it's the only remaining unpaid amount. And the other piece of litigation involves a lawsuit initiated against Roads Transit for a breach of contract.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Meeting your level, you can hear me. Casey Havini, 484 Amherst Road. There's a quick question on our online portal. I know you guys paid extra money to have it flushed so that we had the GPAs and everything. Did you guys ask for a refund for some of them since it's taken so long to get everything up to some? That's just for those of you coming on, that's not something that's forgotten about, because that's money that comes back to the district, should come back to the district. Thanks.
To answer that question, we've had numerous conversations with them about that. At this given point, we haven't finalized that to see if we could get some of the dollars back for what we paid. I think that is something in my mind anyway, whether it is dollars back. I'll say it like this. There are some bills for some of the training that we have not paid. I'll say it like that. So there's going to be some future discussion. I'd like to see it all completed, which I think it has been completed now, and they're starting to do the test run, last I heard, to make sure that, it's going effective. So before we go into what we owe or what we don't owe, I'd like to make sure that it is running and running efficiently, and then we can go back and look at the total package and say, what, if anything, that we can do. In my meeting with the official that ran that, he said that that would be a different department that would decide whether there would be any reimbursement. Although I can't guarantee that will happen, surely will be a goal of mine to either negotiate some type of reimbursement and or future trainings for no cost of some sort. So I'm going to follow up. I just recently, and I know Dr. Supsik isn't here. I don't know, Dr. Filipowski, if we got an official notice that it is running now. I know that they're going through the final phases of that GPA to run it. It seems to me like they are.
I'm just saying, if you're getting ready to do the budget and you're paying for programs that aren't given to you in the timely manner in which you think that they're going to be doing, and you're putting out all this money and then not using those programs, it should be factored into your budget. And as you're looking at this kind of stuff, now's the time to do it. The finance chairperson should be like, oh, let's follow up on this. This came up a lot. Just from a taxpayer's point of view.
Definitely fair statement.
Yes.
Can I ask a question? So we don't know 100% that the GPAs are, let me ask it this way, are the seniors able to get their transcripts fully with the correct GPA?
Well, they have been able to do that through requests.
Right.
And it is my understanding that there was one or two little hints that were left when they were running this and double and triple checking, not the ones by hand, but the ones that are coming out of the system. And I haven't had the official update, but I think there was an email that crossed across where somebody told me that I think we are running that, and we think we have all the kinks resolved. Before we go full throttle on running that, in my opinion, we want to make sure those are accurate. Otherwise, you're just going to go backwards and have to redo them. So in the meantime, I would say I think we are very close, if not doing that already. I will try to confirm that. We can make a note of that, see with guidance. Either way, I don't believe there's anyone who hasn't had access to getting them in one form or another.
Okay.
To the point that was made from the public, it took entirely too long. We all agree with that. So, that's a debatable thing. We do want to make sure that it got done, because at this given point, we needed to have it done. And so then once it is completed and it actually runs 100% efficiently, then we can talk about all the problems that we had and see if in fact we can get any, whether it be reimbursement for credits towards future trainings and such. That's where I'm at with it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. With that, do we have a motion?
Please listen to me. 3 months ago, I spoke to you on the phone.
Can you identify your name or
It's Sandra Braun,
address? Thank you.
2 Pine Court, Economy Borough.
Thank you.
And this is about an Economy Borough school tax from 2021. It came in the mail in August, and I went to pay it. It was $52. And I arrived and there was no one at the office. So I went back the week after and the week after, and I see all the nails taken off the building. The mailbox you could have thrown it in is gone. And so I started calling around, where's the tax office? And it seemed the little girl that was the tax person got voted out. And just decided in August, she'd take everything down and dump it off at the courthouse. But when my name went to the courthouse, they immediately added $250 onto it to collect it. No fair. I didn't do anything to cause that. I tried to pay my tax. Then I get a letter in the mail, I'm calling the mail from the courthouse that says that $250 fine is now $399 because they had a daily interest on to it. Went now up to $900 and some dollars. And I never had an intention of paying it. They put my house up for sheriff's sale over this. I need justice. I didn't cause this to happen. I have always paid my taxes and I have paid them since then. But no one was owned up. So I'm told at the courthouse, when I called this gentleman, that this is who I had to speak to because only he could correct this. And he said to me, I can't do favors for people. I'm not asking for a favor. I'd have brought my 13-year-old really cute granddaughter if I was doing that. But I'm here for justice. I need someone to recognize. The court wouldn't even let me out of the building until I gave them $170 and I only owed them $52. And the thing is, it probably would have been a little less than 52 because I was trying to pay it ahead of due date. I have been to both tax collection agencies at the courthouse. I have been to their jurist. I have been to their solicitor. I have been to all the commissioners. And finally, someone walked up to me the day I called this gentleman and said, you have to speak to the school board. You have to speak to the head of the school board. I've been to their meetings. I did not know at the last meeting that I could even speak because it seemed to be, it was, I don't want to make a scene. It was honoring children and teachers and it was very nice. But they didn't want to make a scene. And I don't want to make a scene now, but why do I have to go to this length to get this straightened out? Because my next step, if you guys don't do anything, I go to KKA, ABC, NBC, anybody that will listen to me. Because 2 years is too long to take to solve this problem. I realized it was during COVID. She left during COVID. So, and I lost my job during COVID. So I was trying to pay the tax to get it out of the way so I was sure I got it paid. And here I am pushing 80, and I shouldn't have to be going through this. Because I had to hire an advocate. I have a legal advocate. She couldn't come tonight. And I'm on my last leg here trying to solve this problem. They have this full tax money. They have it. They just won't let go of the rest of it because they see the big pile of dollars, $900,000.
Okay, I have a couple of questions.
Yes,
And not necessarily for you. They may be for you folks. But one for you. Where you live is it economy?
an economy borough.
Economy bill. So what's happening? This is
2021, we received the school tax bill, just like.
this is 2021. Okay. So if we have any, so I'm not saying I don't believe you're describing the situation. If we have any other occurrences similar to this, in which we could say there was a trend of you said office abandonment, essentially saying office abandonment, for these folks. We see many other instances of this.
No, Mr. President.
Okay. I want to say one point I will say. I did make, and I don't know why right now, I'm drawing a blank. But the previous tax collector, it's right on the top of my.
That's Nicole.
Nicole. Spoke with Nicole. Nicole said that she did not abandon her position. And that she, okay, just gonna finish what she told me.
Right.
And that I believe her office was located near or about the economy, borough
Police department.
building area. And that she worked every hour she was supposed to work that was on the sign according to her hours. That she was supposed to until her term.
Testify for me because she knows she did not.
So
It's also not new. I noticed in the courthouse the next month, at the end of September, that they had everything, because she left her office.
My reason for sharing that was simply because if somebody did abandon and there was nowhere to do that, I think that we would need to. I'm not saying what would happen, but we would need to look into it further. She's saying she did not do that. So, well,
It's a circumstance.
And again, I mean, there's a lot of residents in that economy.
Right.
We didn't have any other instance similar to this.
No.
They would show a trend for this issue.
The first day you get your taxes, everybody's there paying them. Because they get a discount for doing it. I just did, I live in a crazy place, so, because there are 3 two-time courts. I have a Sewickley mailing address. My mail often goes to Sewickley or Sewickley Heights, because there's a two-time court at Sewickley Heights, and there's a two-time court at Sewickley. And I'm the one in Economy. But on my mailing address, it says Sewickley 15143. Because we don't have a post office in Economy. So we're doled out to 9 other zip codes. I just happen to get lucky and get the Sewickley one.
But I don't, as I understand your issue, it was that you attempted to make a payment in person. You did not make any other attempts via mail or otherwise to make the payment.
I don't know, you're not picky.
But the issue wasn't receiving mail or.
Yeah, the problem where I live almost every day is receiving mail. It often goes somewhere else.
Is that why you didn't pay on time?
No, absolutely.
Okay, I just want to clear, I mean, we want to understand, like, with some specificity, I mean, what it is where you believe the administrative breakdown occurred. I will share with you. I will share with both you. I will share with both you and with the board that, as with any judicial or quasi judicial process, and here we have the Tax Claim Bureau is a government agency of the county charged with the duty to collect unpaid taxes as a simple matter of things that are turned over to them. They do so with notices and a procedural process through which a taxpayer does have the opportunity to challenge. There are legal options and through the courts of common pleas for a taxpayer who believes that a tax is inappropriate or they have a legal defense to utilize. If you identify that you have a legal advocate or you have an advocate, I'd encourage you to speak to them or an attorney about what your legal options are.
My legal option is this man right here. That's my legal option. He is the only person that can say, she took care of the taxes and we're willing to let it go with that.
And I will share with you that in the most legal, and is that a self-help thing that from time to time a local agency, whether it's municipality or school district, is asked to do? It is. As a pure legal matter, the only way to exonerate taxes or to forgive them is through another court process, and that's in the local tax collection law.
Who sent me here? The court sent me here.
And I understand that you may have been receiving advice from other people. It sounds like a lay person rather than the tax.
Absolutely not.
If we were to receive a letter from Joe Asgar, I believe Solicitor Asgar is the solicitor for the Tax Claim Bureau. But I certainly would be happy to engage with him.
He said we had nothing to do with this because that girl did not accept those taxes. And I didn't, there was no address on the building at that point.
Right.
In 2 months, there was nothing there, nothing. It was locked shut. Amy will tell you that because Amy said she was not, I couldn't go over for anything. She should have been here for me to take it over from her.
Ma'am, I understand that you are in a difficult position now. You're turning to the,
How difficult does it have to get?
I believe that we've expressed that we would be happy to advocate for you to have more time. I'm pretty certain that we will communicate to repay the amount that is due, because the long.
I have paid the amount that was due.
The tax amount with the entire amount plus interest plus penalty. Because that is what the law says, and that is what other taxpayers in similar situations.
This is why I can't
Unfortunately,
know about this.
I understand that.
You can't even take care of this. It's a minor little problem.
The board can consider it.
I have no justice in this whatsoever. I didn't cause this. I tried every way I could. I've been to and from places, month after month after month. I was working at the time trying to solve some of these problems and couldn't because no one would listen. Everyone said, pass the buck, go again, pass the buck, go to her, go over there, go back to the courthouse, do the. I did everything I was told to do. I didn't do some injustice to the school district.
I appreciate that. The board will take it under consideration, and if they wish to act on it, they could do so next week. They are not legally obligated to do so. And so it'll be a matter of whether they choose to.
Yeah, I would say that I don't think that, I don't think that.
There's no grandmother, you would be there, and God knows what, because you would be fighting for that person. You would not allow this to happen to your sister, your mother, your grandmother. You wouldn't allow this. It shouldn't have happened to me. None of it should have happened to me. And here's where I wind up, with more people saying, oh, well, just pay time and pay the rest of the money. I don't owe you any money. I don't owe anybody any money.
I understand that's your position.
It's the truth, it's not a position.
It is your position.
It's the truth. I'm here for justice. I'm not here for any revenge. I'm not here for any kind of anything, just justice. I paid the tax. Well, I'm not to be punished because everybody passed the buck. I didn't do anything illegal.
Solicitor Turner, what is the right form to continue, for her to continue this discussion with us if needed? So if she chooses, would it be an email, would it be?
I think
This is not the proper form for the discussion.
I think,
Anyway,
I think that
Please, we're trying to address it, so.
I think a communication in writing with a request for the specific relief. I understand that a partial payment has been received, and it has not been processed because it appeared to be restrictively endorsed as a settlement in full for the amounts due. So
She's provided that. Absolutely. I'll give you a copy with.
if there's anything else that if there's anything else that your advocate would wish to communicate as part of your request, please feel free to have, I can give you my card, and feel free to have them reach out to me so that I can understand completely, and then I will, in all faithfulness, translate that to the board with the rights and obligations.
Just for clarity again, if I could, because I don't know that I've heard it. You've asked for justice a number of times, which I appreciate. What is it exactly that you're asking for?
I gave them $172 for a $52 tax because they would not allow me to move forward and pay my other taxes unless I gave them a hunk of money. So I gave it to them. So they already have the tax.
Who's that?
Courthouse.
The Tax Claim Bureau.
Thanks, Mike.
So
I asked them.
Yeah, please, I'm not trying.
Because I went to the tax collector's office, kept trying to resolve it through her. And I got nowhere, absolutely nowhere.
Now, I understand the difficulty that I think we're having, and this is why I asked them this question is, and I understand your allegation that this person going to their office. However, we haven't heard any other instances or complaints along these lines. So this is,
No one's where to come. You're my 15th stop.
I'm not saying that's why you didn't hear any other residents that have made this
How
complaint.
would you hear them if they didn't know to come here? I was sent more places than you can possibly count with your fingers and toes.
Okay.
At what point do you throw the towel in and say, here, just keep the money?
Yeah. Okay.
Because if I had the money, I probably would have done that back at the $250 point. I don't have that kind of money. And never will at my age. I just left a job that I realized I'm not capable of doing this job. If you're pushing 80, you can't be out all night long, traipsing people all over the face of the earth and think you're going to survive the way you did when you were 40.
Sure.
So I walked away. I don't have an income. I make $1,000 a month on Social Security. That's it. I have to live on it. I'm not making it. And I cannot even dream that, like I haven't heard lately what the $970 some turned into, because for a month and a half or 2 months, I haven't contacted them. But I'm sure we're well over 1,000 now, and it's never gonna happen unless you wait for me to die, and then you can't get it either. So it's just like, somebody help me, somebody pay attention, somebody just listen to me. No elderly person is as determined as I am, but I have 4 college degrees. So I'm willing to go the distance. It's just that I can't make headway with anybody. I just can't. I've tried.
Okay. I think we've heard you. Any other questions? Did you have anything? I'm sorry.
Quick question. These are the school district taxes that were to be paid to the tax collector, not economy borough taxes to be paid to them, correct?
My understanding is that she's referring to the school taxes.
Okay.
That she,
$6 and 12 cents, and I paid it like the next morning.
Got it.
Okay, it was available.
Okay.
Thank you. Mrs. Fisher?
Yes, ma'am, I have a question. When you attempted, or you said you attempted, you couldn't pay that bill in person, did you attempt to mail it? Because there's an address usually that comes on the, I'm correct, right? I don't want to call me about it, but the address comes on the tax bill.
It is, and it was returned.
It was recent.
When she,
You have that return receipt?
I don't know.
No, Travis? Or just-
I don't even know what I have at this point. I've talked to so many people.
Okay.
But yes, and where I am, it's back in my lap again. And when January came, I realized there was a new tax collector, so I went to Amy. And she said, she like you right out of the computers. There is nothing on you. I have no idea why the young woman did this. And I can't question her, she's nowhere to be available. And I tried every word I could to make sense out of this. So I did the best I could. On the door, there was always like in little letters, the name, the phone number, what hours she worked, because it's very few hours. And I've always paid, for 10 years, I've never paid the taxes. So I like getting a receipt. So,
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
and that was all wiped off the building. There's no place to send it to after that point, and no phone number, nobody to call. And in January, Amy was right there on the door again with her name. So I went in and spoke to her, and she did everything in her, she's been wonderful to me. She did everything in her power. She kept making suggestions when she talked to me to courthouse, who I could go to for this, who I could talk to as advice, and I wound up with Kathy Foster. And she's not a lawyer, but she is a former advocate at the courthouse. And so, she just said, let's get on this, this is crazy. So that's what we did. And pursued every other last night, this thing really is about the
Hang on one.
and I'll speak to that person. The end result was that the solicitor walked up to me in the hallway and said, I know what you're trying to resolve and there's no way to resolve it because we are not allowed to he said, I would do it for you instantly. But I'm not allowed to make decisions for the school board. You have to talk to the head of the school board.
Mr. Carpenter, I know Ms. Young had a question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Just wanted to know, when you made your opinion, did that resolve or stop your share self-time from the board? That's the, so.
That was the only, yes,
Yes.
that was the only reason I made that payment at all. Was because my last dollar, was all I had, and they were willing to accept it.
Okay.
And that was to stay the sheriff's sale. Now, in December, it should have gone back on the books and it didn't. So I'm treading on water here. I mean,
Has your advocate talked to you at all about any state programs for that assist taxpayers with repayment, especially of debts that occurred during COVID-19 and the pandemic? Has anyone provided you any information about that type of program
justice.
or any other
We paying
program?
all that money to them. Is that justice? No, I'm not.
I don't think that's what she
I
said.
was talking about that.
Saying for a program that would pay off that money. That's what you're saying.
I do believe that there are some programs, it sounds like you could qualify.
It's not, I don't qualify for one, and for two, it's not no longer available to me. But because I'm so angry about this.
Okay.
Such injustice. And as I said, this was your wife, your mother, your sister. You would have gone with them and stood up for them. But I had no one to stand up for me. I had to figure this out on my own. Or on home. And it's been costly to me because I have to pay parking when I go somewhere and to take gasoline that I don't have. And it's a struggle. I'm not trying to cheat you out of school tax money, even though in my heart, I believe 8-year-olds should no longer have to pay school taxes. It's a thing I have fought for 15 years. But obviously, I'm not getting anywhere with that one. At the same time, my belief is a different thing. I'm an Aquarian. I'm justice minded. I feel so really abused by this whole system. And it shouldn't happen. It doesn't matter that I'm the only one that you've heard of, because I'm not the only one I've heard of. And the other people just said, here's the money. So there were a few other people, but not many. Most of the people really, they got a minute, it comes in the mail, they don't pay the tax. So that worked out for them. But she left there sometime in September. And that was the end of that.
Well, thank you for running that task. You've been good. I believe at this point, we probably need to explore some of the allegations. I'm not saying they're untrue, but
She's a tax collector now. She couldn't find a reason. In fact, she didn't even know she was doing it. So next step, do I come back here again?
I think we probably need to internalize it first, right? And then I think probably, once we internalize it, somebody will communicate with her.
When you're always, I mean, not allowed, it's going to come and to have comfort.
It's so relevant compared to when my children came here, because my 13-year-old came here as a Mensa student, and she was ridiculed for everything she did. It was terrible. She cried every day here. And I took her out of school and she graduated GED in Soldier. And I homeschooled all my other children because of their parents. And so I just had such a more rigid, because it's a whole different school now. It's beautiful. And
We need to wrap up the meeting. And that's fine, someone else that would like to speak. Okay, with that, we have a motion for adjournment. Second? Second. All right. For it? Against? All right, we'll move on.
February.